March 19th, 3 days past that announcement of the veterinary services being eliminated. What a hot topic that is. Not a bit of snow in the field at all here now, and the ice is jammed up there in the corner, plugged right solid. Must be pretty deep because I figured the rain would have washed it out. Anyway, just a few thoughts tonight to share on some of the statements that have been made, I guess, that have trickled down through. I guess there's proof right on the phone from a letter that was put out by the agriculture minister that I'm really quite disturbed about. He brought the percentage down as far as the veterinary services. So 73% of the provincial veterinary services are being provided to the horses and to the hobby farms and to the exotic animals, with only 27% of their services focused on commercial livestock such as dairy and beef. I found myself just pondering on that today. If you was to take the equine, which is a horse, out of the province of New Brunswick, it would be just like a vacuum effect as far as what that provides for the rest of us. Now I'm going to give you an example of that. Here on our little outfit, number one, I don't know whether I'm considered a hobby farmer or whether I'm considered a legitimate beef farmer. By the cost of our fertilizer bill that's going to be coming, we just ordered the other day. I don't know. I'd say I'm pretty legitimate when you're running numbers like we are, and we're only one of, we order as a group here in the community. It's what it costs to make that grass grow. It just, people got to realize it just doesn't happen. It's not like your lawn that's a perpetual weed killing situation every week. To grow grass, to feed those horses, which we do, it costs money. Now I have a terrific clientele of equine hay customers. So just in our operation right here, if we was to take the hay sales out of our yearly income here on the farm, we'd be looking at, I would say a third for sure. You're talking thousands of bales of hay. Like it's not just 1/2 ton load. Like it's round hay, it's square hay, it's second cut hay, it's all these different little formulas that people feed over the course of the winter to various situations. And then, of course, I have, as far as the exotic animals, there's a large group of people with these miniature goats and things like that. But once again, it's, if you was to take that away, now I'm only one person, but like, in this big picture of the province, then you'd have the feed stores that wouldn't be selling all the feed. You got the tack shops that wouldn't be selling all the tack. Not to mention all the riding lessons that some of these outfits that I put hay into that provide to the children. Plus you have the ones, the therapeutic ones, for other reasons that are required. So why isn't that considered an important function of the veterinary services of the province? The income, not to mention the draft horses. Like there's another one. The people that are So some of these draft horses that these people are breeding and selling, they go on. They don't stay in New Brunswick or in the Maritimes. Like these animals are sold at an auction in different places. They go all over North America. Big business. So that's one thing there tonight as far as the horses. Now, the hobby farm thing, let's discuss that for a little bit. We pasture we hold property and then have a written lease on some ground on Ormocto Island. Cattle go there for the summer, 2 reasons. Saves me a lot of fencing. Plus, for whatever grass them cows aren't eating here, that's grass that we can grow to either for our own selves or that comes into the horse hay situation. But I was just thinking today, like let's say a half a dozen guys that are on there, and I wish I could start naming names on some of these people that this applies to, but I'm not going to do that. It would be a factor in it, but we're not all hobby farmers. Just because there might be 6 of us that add up to, let's say on an average, like a 20 cow operation, like if you looked at it overall, it'd be more than that, because like let's say 30 head on an average over the whole group a piece. If you added that all up, that would be one big part of maybe the 27% that are, as he's implying, that's legitimate. But when we're dealing once again on our fertilizer order, we all buy together. Those suppliers say that's all right. That's equal to one big guy. It takes the small guys to fill in the bottom from the big orders. Now, would it be safe to say that that Minister of Agriculture doesn't really understand how this all works? Everybody didn't start out with 200 cows. Most people started out with 2. Got them bred, kept the heifers, that's 4. Raised the heifers, bred the cows back, used the AI service, then all of a sudden they get 6, 8 cows, they end up buying themselves their own bull. And it goes up, up, up. Then you get to a size that your farm will handle. There you are. But that doesn't mean you're a hobbyist. That means you're fitting in where your pigeonhole where you can operate at. Now, if you care to drive around rural New Brunswick on all the back roads, there's vacant farms all over everywhere that the barn doors are falling off and nobody lives there anymore. At one point in time, you could drive, well, you wouldn't have to drive too far, even out here where we're at. Here was these guys, they had a dozen cows, they had a few hogs. It was a mixed farming operation. They were small, but they all either had a little cream contract. They were making it, all right? That wasn't a hobby. That was livelihood. They farmed their woodlots, they farmed their farmland. It all went together in 12 months you called it a living. They made a living at it. Now all of a sudden, if you're not one of these big guys, as he's implying, the 27%, does that mean you're insignificant? I say no, because the bottom people down here are buying from the big guys, the seed stock, the hay, whatever. Like, it takes everybody to make this go. So when those vets make a call on a hobby farm, as is described, that's just a little piece of the big pie that makes the whole thing work. And if you talk to any of the big guys, most of them can remember the day when they was the small guy. It may not be in their generation, but like I know for a fact, I've had that conversation with some of these guys. They respect the small guys because they know where everybody starts at. Not everybody can have 10 tractors and fit that category of a big guy because you don't need that. You operate where you're at, but you still need somebody to come and work on your either 2 cows, your 20 cows, or your 200 cows. You need somebody to come and work on your horse. The horse that is going to eat all that hay that the hobby guys or the big guys are growing to feed them. So I think that equation that was, and actually I have, in the last 3 days, I've talked to some people that, those vets, they've been in the big guy's yard and the small guy's yard, the 2 cows, the 200 cows. If the animal's sick, they went. They get paid. What difference does it make whether they get paid at a small guy's house or at a big guy's house? It's the same rate. And those equine people, by the way, they're already paying a supreme rate above what we would be paying because they're working on horses. That happened years ago. I've already argued this point with them at another point in time. Take them guys out of the system. You're going to have a big problem here in this province. Like I know it won't happen anyway because they love their horses. These people, well, they lay down their life for their horse. They love them so much. So I don't think we're ever going to lose that actually. But like I feel bad for them for them being bullied that way, being categorized as if they're sucking the province dry with they're paying their bill, right? Like it's not like they're getting a free ride. It's like I can't tell you exactly what their rate is, but I'm quite sure there'll be a few of them that wouldn't mind telling you. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, we just gotta get some of these things out in the open that are going on that are being smoke screened right now, and that's how I see this. Like the truth isn't out. There's an underlying agenda to this that lies somewheres. Now, people would say you're a conspiracy theorist for even suggesting such a thing, but I'm telling you, in the day and age you're in, that they'll waste money on things that is frivolous, like that doesn't show up anywhere. It's an absolute waste of money. Things that really matter for the people in New Brunswick. I bet you'd be surprised that the little girl that don't get to go take her riding lesson next Saturday morning at one of these places. Be interested to see what that taxpayer has to say if they had to get rid of the horses because they couldn't afford the vet bills. If this all comes to pass, their requirement for the veterinary services is a different angle than what my requirement is, because that's what they enjoy. Everybody's got something that they like. I mean, like if it's riding a horse or whether it's playing football. I mean, like not everybody does the same thing, right? But it takes people to run everything. But anyway, I just thought I'd let you in on that tonight. I remember when I was a young lad learning from some of the old guys that were out around that I handled hay for, and just couldn't wait to garner the information from those guys on how things worked. How, as far as getting cows bred and I learned that at a young age, right? Like all that stuff. But back then, those small farms, they fenced their cows out of the farm into the woods. This is a factual statement, right, in this area that I live in, because they needed all that ground for cultivation. That's where they made their living. So the cows went out in the woods for the summer. I mean, they were in next to they come in every now and then for a treat, or it's not that they were gone all summer, they were around. But those guys back then, they had it figured out, they had little cures for things along the way that they could keep an animal alive with. But they didn't have to deal with all of the there's disease to no end right now that if it ever get going, like it could come in and wipe out just wipe out a cow herd right in an area if it wasn't checked up. We endeavored on Ormuck Island as an example. Everybody that's on that island, we do what we call herd health. Whichever vet comes, I mean they're all capable, but you get you know them all, right? They come, they preg check your cows, anything that maybe just isn't up to snuff with them, they'll point it out. There's things for correction, like there's all kinds of different things that can happen during herd health. So the guy with 2 cows in Oromocto Island, he deserves to have a herd health done, the same as the big guy. Why? Because it could all start at his place. It doesn't take a massive amount of animals to cause a problem. It takes one to get something going. It's contagious the way it goes. So the old fellows, they back in the day when they did what they could do, but the old saying used to be, if you're going to have livestock, you're going to have dead stock. They just wrote it off it was almost like a rite of passage that you're going to lose something, and it's no different now. It's just, you can do everything you want and things can go wrong. But one guy out here used to say, if an animal died of whatever cause, keep it in the barn. In other words, don't let the illness get in the house. Not that it would cross over or not, but there's something to be said for that, because what they were coming at in that age bracket of time, they didn't have the cure for it. They just knew what the consequences was. So they say keep it in the barn, now we ward off that in a different way. We're on top of it with the help of these people that we trust. We trust these people. When they come and tell you got something wrong, here's what we're going to do to fix it, you got to trust them. I remember one time I had a cow here, and we were doing herd health and everything, but she got and I'll never forget it. It was a coronavirus, believe it or not. She it was respiratory, like there was things that had happened. And my good friend that came here that time, the vet, he told me what had to be done. And he said, it's going to take 2 days for her to turn this around. Well, I was pretty anxious. It was one of my best cows at that point in time. And I questioned him on it. She wasn't getting better the next day, of course. So I was reading, what's going on? And he sharpened me right up. He said, you will either trust what I'm doing to this animal, or we're done. Now, here's the lesson that was learned in that. I had to learn to trust their expertise on what they knew. And he was right. But it was all right after, we talked about it many times afterwards. But that's the kind of trust you got to have in these veterinarians when they come to ride. Now, if we lose this group that we have now, and some independent, whoever, it could be like whoever it's going to be, if it happens, hypothetically, we're going to have to reestablish a whole lot of trust, because we're not going to know these people for what their ability and skill set is. That's going to take time. That just doesn't happen on the first call. There's got to be some hard going before you come to develop that it's in your hands attitude. So I don't know how they figure that it's just going to transition into something in the run of a year. If all these new people, some of these vets that we have been at it for 25, 30, some of them even come back out of retirement to help out because of the workload. My land of the living, do they think that 2 or 3 private guys are gonna handle southern New Brunswick? They got to go clear to Deer Island sometimes to work on animals. It's all part of it. It's a big area that we're dealing with. So I don't know how they figure that's going to all happen in overnight. It won't happen overnight. I can just guarantee it won't happen overnight. But anyway, I think we'll shut her down for tonight on that one. That was just some thoughts I had today. I learned a lot of things when I was younger. Little tricks for calving cows, different things. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you get in a tough spot, you could have every trick in your book that you got, but sometimes you got to have somebody that's got the right dose of something, the right gear, sometimes they got to turn, so many things that can go wrong. it's not all about having tricks sometimes, because every now and then your tricks don't work, and we got to have these guys. Come on, guys, let's band together. Let's. This is my story for tonight, and I'm really hoping that we can get this thing turned around. Bye for now.